Please find your copy of 4E. We are going to do some of the problems together. When you are finished with these problems, you can turn in 4E to the sub, or you can keep it, and if you finish the packet, you can turn it in for extra credit tomorrow. The first problem we're going to do together is question 1. It says the table shows a proportional relationship between x and y. Complete the table. Before break, we talked about proportional relationships. We always would take y and divide it by x, and if you get the same thing every time, that means there is a proportional relationship. Now, because this question is telling us there's a proportional relationship, all we have to do is take y divided by x and then simplify the fraction. So when we take the y divided by the x, we get 12 divided by 3, or 12 over 3, which simplifies to 4 over 1. Now I want you to try the same thing with the next two boxes. Pause the video and press play when you're ready to check your answers. You end up getting 16 over 4, which also simplifies to 4 over 1 because 4 goes into 16 4 times and 4 goes into 4 one time, and then 24 over 6, which also equals 4 over 1. So because they all equal 4 over 1 by taking y over x, that means you have a proportional relationship. Now let's skip down to question number 3. It says, decide whether the table shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So in order to determine if there's a proportional relationship, we always want to take y and divide it by x. So right now I want you to try taking y divided by x. Go ahead and make another column to the table on the right hand side and call it y over x, similar to what we did on whiteboards before break. I want you to actually take y and divide it by x all 4 times and see if you get the same thing every time. If you take 25 divided by 5, you get 5. If you take 30 and divide it by 6, you get 5 again. If you take 35 divided by 7, you get 5. And if you take 40 divided by 8, you also get 5. So if you get the same answer every time when you take y divided by x, that means yes, there is a proportional relationship. So please answer the question by writing yes, there is a proportional relationship, and then showing your work here will be enough to explain why. Now try number 4. Decide whether the table shows a proportional relationship between x and y. Do the same thing that we tried in number 3, except this time try it on your own. Press pause while you're working and then press play to check your answer. This time, when you take y divided by x, you end up getting 2, 4, 7, and 10. That means that no, it is not proportional. You have to get the same answer every time in order to show a proportional relationship between x and y. Now let's try looking at question number 9. It's an error analysis question. The table shows a proportional relationship between x and y. Demetrius and Katrina have to complete the table. Katrina incorrectly says the ratio y over x is 1 over 10. For part A, first you need to complete the table by creating the ratios y over x. Then for part B, you need to determine what error Katrina likely made. Try doing this on your own and then press play when you're ready to see your answer. When you create the ratios, you get 30 over 3, 50 over 5, 70 over 7, and 90 over 9. These all are equal to 10 over 1. So to answer the question, what error did Katrina likely make? Is it A, she found and simplified x times y? B, she found and simplified x divided by y? C, she found and simplified x minus y? Or D, she found and simplified x plus y? So looking at what we got 10 over 1 and she got 1 over 10. That means that all she did was flip the fraction. So instead of doing y divided by x, she did x divided by y, which is why the correct answer would be B. The last problem I want to try together is question number 13. It says, decide whether the table shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So again, we're going to take y divided by x and see if we get the same thing every time. This time we have fractions, so it might be a good idea to try it with your calculator. Make a y over x column again. Determine what the value is for y divided by x for all 4, and then write down yes or no whether or not it shows a proportional relationship. For the first row, if we were to take 3 4/5 divided by 19, you end up getting 1/5. The way you can do that in a calculator is to take 3 ABC4 ABC5 and then divide that by 19. Now try the next 3. You should find that when you take 4 25ths and divide it by 4/5, you end up getting 1/5. For the third row, when you take 1/5 divided by 5, you get 1/25. And for the fourth row, when you take 2 3/5 divided by 13, you get 1/5. Now, does this show a proportional relationship between x and y? Well, we get the same thing for the first, second, and fourth row, but because that third row is not the same, that means no, it does not show a proportional relationship between x and y. So make sure you fill in that answer. Now, as soon as you're finished completing the problems that we just did together, you can turn in your packet to the sub, or you can just show it to the substitute and get the next handout. You can turn it in for extra credit if you finish the whole thing by tomorrow. Remember, the quarter ends in about 10 days.